compound events. So when looking at the likelihood that two or more events will occur, it is called a compounding event. So when we're finding OR probabilities, right, we're going to find the probabilities first, and then we're going to go ahead and add them together. But when we're finding AND probabilities, we're going to go ahead and find the probabilities first, and then we're going to go ahead and multiply them together. So this will make more sense in the examples. So example 1, after the first few months of school, you find that 8 out of 12 students usually know how to count to 25. And 11 out of 12 know how to say their ABCs. So what is the probability of a child that can count to 25 and say their ABCs after a few months of school? So notice where we see the AND probability, right? We're looking then to find first the probabilities. So we have 8 out of 12, right, know how to count to 25. And then 11 out of 12 know how to say their ABCs. And so we need to go ahead, since this is AND, we're going to go ahead and multiply these two probabilities together. So before we do that, what we notice is that we have an 8 here and 12 here. So we're going to make this into a 2, and this will become a 3 because we divide by 4 on both of those numbers. Then we have to multiply the top. So that's 2 times 11, so that's 22. 12 times 3, right, is 36. So now we have 22 divided by 36. So now we have 22 over 36. We can go ahead and reduce this by, right, dividing by 2 on both the top and bottom, right? And so we get 11 over 18, and that would be the probability that a child can count to 25 and say their ABCs after a few months of school. So now let's look at the next example. Example 2. At the beginning of school, so you find that 3 out of 12 students usually know how to count to 25, and 5 out of 12 know how to say their ABCs. So what's a probability of a child that can count to 25 or say their ABCs at the beginning of school starting? So the first thing we notice is we have an OR. So when we have OR probabilities, the first thing we still do no matter what between AND or OR is we find the probabilities. So if a child can count to 25, that's 3 out of 12. Then 5 out of 12 can say their ABCs. So if it's an OR probability, we're going to go ahead and add these two together. So notice we have a common denominator, and so we can just go ahead and just add the numerators together, and then we're going to keep the denominator. So that's 12. 3 plus 5 is 8, which can be reduced to 2/3 as we divide by 4 on the top and bottom.